It's a Big 12 Sunday matinee here at Fifth Third Arena. The Bearcats coming off a 3-point loss against Utah look to get back into the win column today against the Mountaineers, who are currently on a 3-game losing skid. You're listening to Big 12 men's basketball on Bearcat Sports Radio. Alongside me today, Casey Stevens, I'm Christian Pagan, and for the Mountaineers, they brought in 8 transfers, a new head coach, and what was considered a promising season hasn't really translated to their aspirations. They sit at 13-7, but a win tonight against the Bearcats would serve a big purpose for this team.
The Mountaineers are on a 3-game losing streak where it started against Arizona State back in January and ending right now with Houston. Their lowest scoring game, only scoring 49. First game all season where their star player, Javon Small, who leads the Big 12 in scoring, first time in 20 games that he was not in double figures.
That Houston game, we saw a lot of the big man, Joseph Tugler, Houston big man. He exploited a lot of matchups against the Mountaineers, against Toby Akani. The big men, they were dominating in that first half against the Mountaineers. You gotta wonder if Cincinnati will do the same with maybe Aziz Bandega, but for the Bearcats, it's been the same. A year of high hopes and potential, and it really hasn't panned out the way they envisioned. They currently sit at 12-8, and their hopes for a spot in March Madness seem to be fading more and more by the day.
And for Cincinnati, preseason rankings had them as one of the top 25 teams, just not being able to pick it up after their first loss of the season against Villanova. A lot of shooting slumps. Giselle James has been the star most recently, and the man who was called upon before the season even started, Simas Lukosius, has been nowhere to be found in recent games.
And now you look at Cincinnati. We talked about the big man matchup. You're looking at Aziz Bandega. When he scores in double figures this year, the Bearcats are 6-1. I know you're seeing something in him tonight, aren't you?
I am, with the height difference being at 7 foot and the only other tall player on the Mountaineers standing at 6'11", who will not even be starting in this matchup tonight. The Mountaineers are going to be throwing out more of a small ball offense and trying to attack the rim. Aziz Bandega is reliable on defense, and I think tonight he will have a big game.
Mountaineers taking on the Bearcats. Tip-off will begin momentarily. We'll take a quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back here to Fifth Third Arena. Mountaineers taking on the Bearcats. Starting lineup just got announced, and for the Bearcats, no Dan Skillings. Day-Day Thomas gets his first start of the season at the point guard alongside Jizzle James. We know last year that they really didn't play together. Jizzle and Day-Day, they couldn't really mesh. But this season, we're seeing a lot of it more, and now for the first time, they're all starting together.
And it's something to look at. The flashy player, Dan Skillings, first time being on the bench and not starting since he was injured earlier this season. That really raises the question, what will change and what will Wes Miller do with this new lineup that he's put out there?
And alongside the guards, at the forwards, you have Dylan Mitchell, Simon Lukosius, and at the 5, Aziz Bandego. That's their Cincinnati starting 5. Flipping the script, looking at the Mountaineers, Toby Okani, Javon Small, and Sunseer Harris are the 3 guards, followed by Jonathan Powell and Amani Hansberry at the 2 forwards. That's their starting 5 for the Mountaineers.
And it's very interesting to look at that starting 5 that was thrown out. We mentioned earlier in the pregame 8 transfers for the Mountaineers. 4 of the 5 guys out there on the court are transfers other than Jonathan Powell, the freshman guard. And for him coming back, home state in Ohio, coming from Cedarville, he's looking to make a big difference tonight.
A little homecoming for Jonathan Powell. Now overall in this series, Cincinnati leads it 12-11. Bearcats won the season series last year.
Have those 2 facilitators in James and Thomas really work around. Find AZ Bandego, like we mentioned, will have a big game tonight if he can work down in the paint, get to his right hand, and just roll it in.
Nice crowd here at Fifth Third Arena. Cincinnati in their all-white uniforms. West Virginia looks to be in their retro all-blue uniforms. You have white numbers, yellow lettering. And on your mobile device, Cincinnati will go from right to left and vice versa for the Mountaineers going left to right. To tip it off at the C-Ball logo, it's going to be Toby Okani and Aziz Bandego. We talked about it. Bandego's 7 foot. Okani, he's 6'8".
It's going to be a matchup to look at. Small ball for the Mountaineers and a big difference in the lineup tonight for the Bearcats.
Match day 21 is underway, and Cincinnati wins the opening tip. It's going to be Day-Day Thomas bringing up the ball, guarded by Sunseer Harris as he crosses the timeline. He finds Jizzle James at the left wing. James has Harris on him, goes to the right wing, finds Lukosius, thought about it, dumps it off to Mitchell at the right wing. Guarded by Okani. Mitchell, he's going to drive in, goes off the glass, it's no good. Fight for the rebound, and it ends up in the hands of a Mountaineer. That's Amani Hansberry. Almost lost it, though. Mountaineers have possession.
For Mitchell, the transfer from the SEC from Texas coming to play in Cincinnati, trying to make a difference there. Hop step into the paint, not able to finish, but in warm-ups trying to work on that.
Javon Small, the nice backdoor cut to Toby Okani for the first bucket of the game. Mountaineers up 2-0. 19-12 left to go in the first.
Okani coming off of a nice game against Houston. Even though they lost, he was the second leading scorer with 8 points, added 4 rebounds as well. And if he's already able to get that backdoor cut and lay it in, he may have a nice night.
Jizzle James pull-up jumper from the left elbow. It's no good. Paul is poked away by Aziz Bandego. No official signal yet, and it's going to be Bearcat ball. Looks may have took a deflection off a Mountaineer, maybe Javon Small or Toby Okani.
And Jizzle James getting to his spot. He's more become a mid-range shooter other than outside the arc, and he's been able to drill it. Anytime he gets in, he tries to fade it away and get it in.
It's going to be a quick foul right there by Sunseer Harris, the transfer out of Illinois. And something interesting about him, he wanted to be more of an overall player, not just a defensive guy. He sat out the entire of last season. He really wanted to work on his game and took that redshirt year. Found a new home here in Morgantown with the Mountaineers. 13 left on the shot clock. Day-Day Thomas has it straight away. Finds Jizzle at the left wing in front of the Mountaineer bench. Back out the Day-Day Thomas. Underneath to Bandego. Here's the matchup. This is back out to Jizzle James. 4 left on the shot clock. He's working, and he's clamped up by Sunseer Harris. It's a turnover for the Bearcats. Harris. Here's Small. Has it straight away. Gets a high screen. Here's Okani, right by the 5th-3rd logo. Gives it off to Hansberry. Dribble handoff to Okani. Student section making some noise. Small at the right wing, guarded by Thomas. Nice behind the back pass to Hansberry. 3-pointer, it's no good. The rebound is corralled in by Day-Day Thomas.
And for the Mountaineers, just trying to work around this hard defense that Cincinnati has and what they're known for.
There's Thomas, pull-up jumper, no good, but Mitchell gets the offensive rebound. Picks up his dribble, gives back out to Day Thomas at the left wing. Thomas guarded by Harris in front of the scorer's table. Finds Jizzle James across the court at the right wing. High screen by Bandego. Jizzle James working. Gets off to Bandego at the right elbow. Getting clamped up by Hansberry. Throws up the floater and he completely missed it. It's no good. Mountaineers with possession. 17-32 underneath Hansberry. He missed a layup. Great pass by Harris, but it looks to be Hansberry was caught a little off guard right there. He missed the layup. Here's Jizzle James, has it inside the three-point arc at the left wing. Gets a high screen by Bandego. Finds Lukosius, who dishes it off to Day Thomas. A three-pointer up and away, and that's nothing but net. Bearcats up 3-2. First basket for Cincinnati belongs to Day Thomas.
Day Thomas just able to work around that screen set by Lukosius, get to that left wing and drill it down to give Cincinnati Bearcats their first lead with 16:57 to go in the first half.
Thomas had 5 points, 2 boards, and 4 assists against Utah earlier in the week. Here's Javon Small, has it the right wing. 8 left on the shot clock. He's going to pull up straight away, and that one is nothing but net. There's the Big 12 leading scorer, Javon Small, gets his first bucket of the night.
Makes it look effortless at the top of the key, just strokes it in to make this a 3 to 5 point game.
Jizzle James finds Day Thomas. He rotates around, gives off to Lukosius. A pull-up three from the left wing. It will not fall in, but a foul is called. That would have been huge for Lukosius. He'll go to the line for 3 free throws.
To notice something as well, you mentioned 7 3-pointers in the last matchup between, well, together with Day Thomas and Simas Lukosius. Thomas knocking down one earlier. Lukosius was about to knock one down, but going to the line, I think Wes Miller was looking at that past matchup and wanting to make something happen.
Here's the first free throw for Lukosius. He sinks it in. Bearcats trail by a point. Lukosius on the year, an 82% free throw shooter. We talked about his slump earlier that he had to start conference play, but really these past 5 games, as he makes the second free throw, he has 5 consecutive double-digit scoring efforts. Before conference play, he was averaging 5 points per game. Now he's averaging 12 points per game over his last 5 games. Jizzle James checks out. Insert Dan Skillings. Lukosius gets set. Third free throw up, and it is good. 3 points from the line for Simas Lukosius to give the Bearcats a 6-5 lead. 16-20 remains in the first half. Here's KJ Tenner. Has it straight away, guarded by Skillings. Goes underneath. That's Eduardo Andre. Goes up, and a foul is called against the Bearcats.
And Andre, the tallest player on the Mountaineers team, checking in, able to get the ball down low, draw the foul, and goes to the line for 2 shots.
Eduardo Andre, he's a 5th year out of London. Averages 6 points per game, 58% shooter from the free throw line. The Ruckus will try everything they can to distract him. But he sinks the first free throw to tie the game at 6 apiece. 16-10 remaining in the first half.
And free throw shooting comes easy for the Mountaineers on the season, 75%. For Cincinnati, it's been a struggle, just shooting around 65.
Second free throw rims out, rebound secured by Dylan Mitchell. Thomas crosses the timeline, guarded by Tenner, the freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee. Has at the right wing, gives off to Lukosius straight away. He's at the block, finds Mitchell, a 3-pointer from the left wing, and that one can't fall, rebounded by Okani. Small to Okani, underneath. Andre off the glass, no good. There's Mitchell with the rebound. He'll bring up the ball, gets it off to Day Thomas. Thomas back out to Mitchell, inside, and looks like Andre may have gotten a piece of that. It's blocked. Mountaineers have possession. 6-6 is our score, 15-20 remaining in the first half. There's a kickball violation against Day Thomas. Here's our first media timeout. Our score is 6-6, 15-16 left to go in the first half. We'll take a quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Welcome back here to the Queen City. Our score is 6-6, 15-16 remaining in the first half, but we're off to another slow start. And for the Mountaineers, that was an emphasis. Coach DeVries said, I don't quite understand why we've gone off to a slow start here recently. In their 3-game losing skid, they were down 10-2 to Arizona State, 19-2 to Kansas State, 13-3 to Houston. They've got to get off to a better start. 10 seconds left on the play clock. Here's KJ Tenner, gives it off to Javon Small, guarded by Dede Thomas. Andre back out the Small, crossover. He's gonna put up a 3-pointer, and that's nothing but net. Cold-blooded for Javon Small. 6 points on the night.
Javon Small able to get anywhere on the court. You can tell, being the leading scorer in the Big 12, it just comes easy to him.
That's confidence right there. Mountaineers up 9-6. Skillings has it at the right wing, gets it back out to Thomas at the left wing. Underneath, here's Dylan Mitchell. He lost the ball. And it will be no official signal yet. Looks to be staying Bearcat possession. 14:35 remaining in the first half, 12 left on the shot clock. Bearcats will inbound it.
And Dylan Mitchell trying to drive, hop step, ball just poked out of bounds, stays with the Cincinnati Bearcats.
And Aziz Bandago came out, insert Arrington Page in that timeout. Here's Lukosius, he receives the inbound, 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Lukosius trying to work on Powell, gives off to Mitchell. Here's Dede Thomas. Thomas inside the arc, pull-up jumper. That one will roll in. Dede Thomas, 5 quick points. Bearcats trail 8-9.
And for Cincinnati, they need these easy buckets. Get those wide open shots. Get to your spots as a player and knock them down, because Javon Small is going to come in and try and wreck your home.
Dede Thomas averages 7 points per game this season. He already has 5 in this first 6 minutes of this game. Here's Small again, straight away. That one is no good. Rebounded by Dylan Mitchell. Almost slipped there, but regains his balance. Under 14 left to go in the first half. Here's Dede Thomas straight away. Underneath, here's Arrington Page, back door. Cut, it's thrown away, intercepted. That's Jonathan Powell, the freshman out of Centerville, Ohio. We talked about it. A little bit of a homecoming for him. Small has at the left wing, guarded by Arrington Page. Ball is poked around. Fight for the possession, and it's going to be a jump ball, going to be in favor for the Mountaineers. Looks like they try and get a backdoor cut, a give and go for Small and Andre, and just fumbled the exchange right there. Going scrum on the court, it's going to be a jump ball.
And to describe how Javon Small plays, it is very shifty. He has that quick first step, able to get where he needs to be on the court. 3 shots up for him tonight, 2 of those being 3-pointers and being able to knock them down. He really likes that top of the key 3-pointer. That really gives him the chance to have that backboard too in case he needs it.
An opportunity for the Bearcats. Javon Small comes out for a substitution as Dan Skillings pokes that one away. Bearcats, they're bringing in Tyler Betsy, Jizzle James, and Josh Reed into the starting 5 on the court right now. 13:24 remaining in the first half. Mountaineers up 9-8, 6 left on the shot clock. Harris will inbound it. He finds Hansberry. Hansberry drives in on Mitchell, throws it up off the glass, no good. Fight for the rebound, it goes out of bounds, and it will be Mountaineer ball. Dan Skillings was fighting it. Looks to be that was with Jonathan Powell, I believe, or Toby Akani. Mountaineers will inbound it. Here's Harris, has it in the right corner from the Bearcat bench. Finds Tenner at the right wing, guarded by Jizzle James, dumps it off to Hansberry, straight away guarded by Mitchell. Here's Okani at the baseline in the corner. Lowers his shoulder against Tyler Betsy. He's working on him. Spin move, fadeaway jumper. That one is nothing but net. That's Toby Okani. He has 4 points tonight. Mountaineers up 11-8.
An interesting lineup that Cincinnati has. More of their shooters are on the court, and Tyler Betsy, the freshman, he's a bit more reliable when it comes to those 3-pointers.
Here's Betsy. He lets one fly, and that's nothing but net. Tyler Betsy ties the game at 11 apiece. That's his first bucket of the night.
Like I said, find him on the wing and he will shoot it. He's one of the most reliable players for Cincinnati, who's not much known as a 3-point team, but when he comes in, you know he's going to shoot it.
Bad pass for the Mountaineers, saved. No, they're going to say out of bounds. That was Hansberry. It was a bad pass, tried to recover, but he went out of bounds. It will be Cincinnati possession. 12:26 left to go in the first half. 11-11 is our score. James crosses the timeline. Finds Mitchell straight away, gets up to Betsy at the left wing. Betsy picks up his dribble, guarded by Okani. Finds Jizzle James at the right wing. James drives in, floater is up, no good. Rebounded by the Mountaineers. Here's Harris. Driving in, nice move, dumps it off from the corner for a three-pointer. That's good. Jonathan Powell. Mountaineers up 14-11. That's Powell's first bucket of the night, and a turnover for the Mountaineers. Harris dumps off to Akani, and that's blocked by Betsy, but Mountaineers still regain possession. Tenner gets off to Harris, to Akani in the corner, guarded by Betsy. Dumps it off to Tenner straight away. Tenner in the corner. Here's Hansberry. Dribble handoff to Harris, 10 left on the shot clock. Okani drives in on Betsy, off the glass, no good, rebounded by Hansberry. Hansberry fighting in the paint, throws it up, and that one is good. Mountaineers up 16-11, and a timeout taken by Wes Miller. Toby Okani, 6 points tonight. And Mountaineers up 16-11. Anything that strikes your eye so far?
I would say the aggressiveness that Cincinnati's playing with. We're seeing them either be too aggressive or not aggressive enough. They like to play a little bit of man-to-man. We see them switch to 2-3 zone or even go to 3-2. Wes Miller needs to control his guys' temper, too. You can't get frustrated, and you can't give up on a play. There was a play earlier where Javon Small had the ball, passed it down low to Andre, and Jizzle James went in for the steal. Dan Skilling's already attempted to run down the court, leave his man wide open, and the Mountaineers were able to finish in with an easy layup.
16-11 is our scoring. Excuse me, that was not Okani at the point. It was Hansberry with the first bucket. We've had another timeout break here at Fifth Third Arena. We'll take another break on Bearcat Sports Radio. And welcome back here to Fifth Third Arena. Mountaineers up 16-11. Coming into this game, the Mountaineers were really struggling beyond the arc. They were 4 of 18 against Houston, but they missed 55 of their last 67 threes coming into this game. Tonight, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc.
And that more comes from Javon Small being able to get to his spot and knock down the three-pointer easily, being 2 of 3 from the field.
11:16 left to go in the first half. Mountaineers up 16-11. Jizzle James brings the ball, finds Day Thomas, gives it off to Josh Reed. Back out to Day Thomas straight away. Finds Jizzle James at the left wing. Gets a high screen by Bandego. James drives in, floater is up. It's no good, rebounded by Hansberry.
James not being able to find a shot early in this game. Cincinnati, more known as the second half team, they normally slow it down and find their right shot and work the ball around to find the open player.
Here's Harris, finds Small, pump fakes, a three is up. He lets it fly, and that's nothing but net for Javon Small. 9 points on the night for the Big 12's leading scorer. Mountaineers up by 8. Day Thomas has it, working on Small, drives in. That one is blocked by Javon Small. Mountaineers have possession. Here's Okani bringing the ball up the court. Dribble handoff to Harris. Pull up jumper from the free throw line. It's no good. A whistle, and it looks to be against Aziz Bandego. On the box out, I think Bandego. I think that's what happened, but substitution here for the Bearcats. Insert Rayvon Griffith. Here's a standing ovation from the crowd for the Cincinnati kid. Griffith comes in for some action, 10-17 left to go. Mountaineers will inbound it. They find Sincere Harris, finds Javon Small straight away. Small behind the back pass to Hansberry. His three-pointer is up. It's no good, and there's Griffith with the rebound. Coach Wes Miller actually said Griffith was the team's best rebounder in training camp. James jumper is no good. Fight for the rebound. Day Thomas has it. Nice pass to Griffith. In the paint, floater is up, and there's Griffith's first basket. Bearcats down by 6. Listen to this crowd.
You need anything you can get if you're Cincinnati. Down by 6 now. Rayvon Griffith comes off the bench. You're getting the fans on your side now. You're getting that momentum. The energy is all with you now.
Harris has it, finds Small, guarded by Day Thomas. 10 left on the shot clock. Working at the left wing, crossover underneath. Here's Hansberry. He's working on Bandego in the paint, gives it off. Here's Yesufu, a late three-pointer, and that's good. Joseph Yesufu. His first bucket of the night. Mountaineers up 22-13. Here's Lukosius, finds Bandego in the paint. Bandego throws up the one-handed floater. It's no good, rebounded by Okani. 9 minutes left to go in the first half. Javon Small has it, guarded by Lukosius. Straight away, thought about the three, give and go. He goes inside the paint. That's gonna be a blocking foul on Bandego on the driving Javon Small.
Javon Small might be the most athletic player out there on the court. Simas Lukosius is not able to keep up with him at all. No one on Cincinnati's team is able to compete with his speed and athleticism.
Javon Small, 6'3", 190 out of South Bend, Indiana. You talked about it, how you saw him play in high school.
He, by far, was the star on the court and off the court too. Comes up, talks with the fans, engages with everyone. Overall, a great player. Can't wait to see where he goes from here.
He makes the first free throw. Cincinnati brings out Mitchell and Bandego. Insert Ayrton Page and Jizzle James, I believe. Here's the second free throw for Javon Small. And he missed it. He goes 1 or 2 from the line. Here's Lukosius bringing up the ball. Gets it off to Jizzle James straight away. Gets the play call from Coach Wes Miller. Lukosius right wing. And that's a bad pass stolen, rather intercepted by Eduardo Andre. Sincere Harris picks up his dribble at the right wing, finds Javon Small, guarded by Jizzle James. Small, straight away, working on James, alley-oop to Andre, and he missed the flush. He couldn't convert it. Bearcats have it. And that's another bad pass. Here's Powell. He's in the paint, layup, that one falls in. Powell, 5 points on the night. Mountaineers up 25-13. And this crowd is very unhappy right now.
For Cincinnati, slow start, just can't make anything happen. No one can communicate well on offense, and defense has just been a disaster.
Mountaineers on a 14-2 run over the last 4 minutes. They're up by 12 currently.
And if you're Cincinnati, you need any spark. Having Rayvon Griffiths check in, grab that rebound, you got the fans engaged. Since then, Simas Lukosius not able to communicate with Day Thomas on that cut to the rim, turnover. Once again, Jizzle James and Day Thomas, another turnover, capitalized for the Mountaineers.
And you mentioned it right, they need a spark, and that's gonna be by any means necessary. Bringing on Griffith Maybe you might see TJ Frederick tonight. You're going to see anyone on the bench available. Here's Lukosius, a spot up three. That one falls in. Simons Lukosius. 6 points on the night, his first bucket. Bearcats trail by 9, 25-16, 7:40 left to go in the first half. Small brings it up the timeline. Guarded by Day Thomas. He's going to drive in. The layup is no good. A lot of contact, but the putback falls in for Eduardo Andre. Andre, 3 points on the night. Mountaineers up 27-16. Lukosius has it, guarded by Powell. Gets a screen, finds Day Thomas. Thought about the three. He's going to drive in, throws up the floater. Can't fall in. Fight for it. Page gets the rebound. Finds Lukosius, gives it off to James Griffith at the left wing underneath to AP. AP, he's guarded by Andre. Spin move at the block. He gets doubled. He loses the ball. It's another turnover for the Bearcats. Small drives in. Layup with the right hand. It's good. That one's too easy. He has 12 points on the night. And listen to this crowd. They are not happy. Mountaineers up 29-16. Under 7 minutes left to go in this first half. Now, we talked about in the pregame show. Javon Small, 8 points against Houston. Here's a fun fact. Against the Cougars, he didn't get his first shot until 11:07 remaining in the first half. It took him 9 minutes to get his first shot off, and he's the Big 12's leading scorer. Tonight, 12 points, 4 of 6 from the floor, including 3 three-pointers.
And we may see a season high for him with how he started so far. That Gonzaga game where the Mountaineers took down the third-ranked team in the nation, led by Javon Small's 31. And overall, anytime he scores 20+, they're 7-2. Any team is able to compete with the Mountaineers. Just, are you able to shut down their star player, and are you going to force other players to step up? But for Cincinnati, the main issue has to be the turnovers. 5 turnovers in the past 3 minutes. If I'm Wes Miller and I'm the head coach of the Bearcats, I'm in my huddle telling my players, short passes. We have to not dribble with our head down if you're Arrington Page down low. Pass it off if there's a double team coming towards you. Find the open man and get to your spots on the court.
Looking at the box score, Cincinnati 6 turnovers. Now, coming into this game, they had 4 straight games with single-digit turnovers. That was 15th in the nation at 9.8 per game. So far in this first half, they already have 6 of them. 6. That's not going to cut it at all.
And Cincinnati overall has just struggled defensively too. That corruption that happened with Javon Small just able to have a wide open lane. If you're in any game and you have a wide open lane, you're going to the rim easily. I'm not going to spot up from 3 and risk myself missing the shot. I'm getting my easy layup. And for Cincinnati defensively, everyone needs to pick up their head and look around. You need to find out who to guard. And if you're the Mountaineers, continue with this momentum. You have everything on your side. Even some of the fans, there are Mountaineer fans in 5th, 3rd. They're cheering on your team. Your entire bench starts to erupt anytime you score.
These teams used to be rivals in the Big East. They used to be rivals, and there are quite a few Mountaineer fans here. But as they have a 13-point lead against the Bearcats, like you mentioned, they have to continue this momentum. And we said it in the pregame show, even though they're on a 3-game losing skid, this win, if they could win against Cincinnati, that could do wonders for this team.
And both teams are really looking to get into that NCAA tournament and compete for a national champion. This Mountaineers team, I would say, gets slept on. They've taken down multiple ranked opponents. Iowa State, who is ranked number 2. Kansas, who is 7. Arizona and Gonzaga. 3 top 10 opponents, 2nd, 7, and 3. They're 4-2 against ranked opponents. They're a scary team if Javon Small and everyone around him can step up.
On this topic, West Virginia, they're still tied for the national lead with 3 wins over top 10 teams. And they're one of only 8 teams in the country with 4 wins over ranked teams. Then again, their offense has vanished. They averaged 55 points per game during their 3-game losing streak, and that's tied for the 4th lowest average in the country in the past 3 games. And no one has shot worse than the hideous 17% from 3-point range, all coming into this game. Different story today against the Bearcats. Action has resumed. Here's Dan Skillings, the left wing, guarded by Yesufu. Skillings dribbles to the right wing, trying to get by Yesufu, and a foul is called. Too much hand action by Joseph Yesufu, the 5th year from Illinois.
Continue to see those common fouls being called on defense by the Mountaineers. They like to play aggressive, play tight on their man, not give them any space. But if you get too aggressive, you have a chance to allow the other team to get in the bonus and get free points at the line.
Cincinnati trails 16-29, 6:36 left to go in the first half. 17 left on the shot clock. Here's Day Thomas, has it. Near the C-Paul logo, finds Bandago straight away. Bandago looking for the handoff, gets it to Dylan Mitchell. Mitchell, the Skillings at the left wing, gets a screen, finds Day Thomas. 4 left on the shot clock. Thomas pull up, 3-pointers up. It's no good, rebounded by Jonathan Powell. Tenor has it right by the C-Paul logo, guarded by Lukosius. 18 left on the shot clock. Tenor looking, finds Small, guarded by Thomas. Small underneath, and it's going to be a kickball against, I think it's going to be Bandago. He tried to go underneath to Eduardo Andre. Good coverage right there by Bandago, but a kickball will be called, so the shot clock will get put back up to 20. Under 6 minutes left to go in this first half.
And for the score being 16-29, West Virginia has been ranked a few weeks as well in this season, the highest ranking being 22. And Cincinnati coming into this game was favored by a wide margin.
Here's Small at the left wing, gets it off to Andre. Andre give and go to Small, alley-oop to Andre, and he throws it down. Eduardo Andre, 5 points tonight, Mountaineers up by 15. Skillings at the right wing. Tries to find Day Thomas in the corner. Another case of miscommunication on that pass. Skillings finds Lukosius in the left corner, gets it right back. Here's Thomas, a deep 3 from the right wing, and that one is good. Day Thomas, 8 points tonight. Bearcats down by 12, around 5 minutes left to go in this first half.
And Day Thomas being the leading scorer for the Bearcats with 8 of their 19. Most of those being 3-pointers as well, but he needs to step up. And a different, too, more of a big man offense that the Cincinnati Bearcats are running.
Andre has it, finds Small in front of the Bearcat bench in the right corner. Dishes back out to Andre, looking for the dribble handoff. Here's Powell, a 3 from the right wing. It's no good, rebounded by Day Thomas. Under 5 left to go in the first half. Here's Lukosius at the right wing. The foul is called. That's on KJ Tenor, the freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee. Lukosius will come out. Insert Tyler Betsy. .443 remains in this first half. Mountaineers up 31-19. Bearcats inbound it. Here's Day Thomas near the timeline, guarded by Tenor, trying to work on him. Thomas finds Betsy at the right wing. Back out to Thomas. Here's Skillings in the corner. Thomas, a deep 3. I mean deep. That one is no good. Rebounded. Fight for it. Goes out of bounds, and it's going to be off Toby Okani. Bearcats will retain possession.
And for Day Thomas, multiple shots from behind the arc. That 3-pointer may have been a little too deep for him. Felt to be 32 feet from the rim. Able to at least make it near the rim, not in. And it's good to see Cincinnati not give up on the plate. Chase down the rebounds. Dylan Mitchell being the leading rebounder for Cincinnati in this game with 5 already. And it's just the first half.
Thomas will inbound it in front of the Mountaineer bench, finds Skillings. Gets it out to Dylan Mitchell. Mitchell finds Betsy, another 3-pointer. He lets it fly. It's no good. Fight for the rebound, and Mitchell gets it again. Thomas finds Josh Reed straight away. He's going to give it back out to Thomas at the left wing, guarded by Tenor. Lowers the shoulder. Thomas goes underneath, and it's another turnover for the Bearcats. Here's Javon Small. He lost it. The Bearcats have it. Fast break. Thomas, alley-oop to Mitchell, and it's no good. And Mitchell gets a putback, it was to Skillings. Another case of miscommunication, a little too high, but Mitchell had the putback. Bearcats now trail by 10. Here's Small at the right wing, guarded by Josh Reed. Step back, 3-pointer is up. It's no good, it rimmed out, rebounded by Day Thomas. Under 4 minutes left to go in the first half. Skilling's a corner three. That one is an air ball. And it's gonna be a Mountaineer ball. Wes Miller. Well, is it Bearcat ball? It's gonna be Mountaineer ball, excuse me. Officials were talking about it. Bearcats down by 10, 3:28 left to go in this first half. We'll take a quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. And welcome back. Bearcats down by 10. Casey, I don't know what's more surprising. Cincinnati 4 of 9 from three-point arc, because they're not really a three-point shooting team, or Graders having a Skyline chili flavored ice cream.
The Skyline chili ice cream, I have to say, actually tastes good. In my opinion, I've heard a lot of different opinions throughout. I get a little bit of hint of pumpkin spice with some cinnamon, and those oyster crackers, while it does seem odd, I do have to say it's very well put together. Like the Cincinnati shooting behind the arc tonight as well. 7 of 23 overall, 3 of those shots coming inside, where 4 have been made from outside.
And you wouldn't believe it. The Mountaineers are on a 2-minute scoring drought. You wouldn't really expect that today. After their 25 run that they had earlier. Here's Small, receives a backdoor cut, goes out of bounds, 3:13 remains. What I was saying is that they were on a 20-5 run in that first half. And now, a 2.5-minute scoring drought. It seems kind of surprising the way this team's been playing. Okani inbounds at the Small, at the left elbow, guarded by Jizzle James. Tried to draw the foul, but it's stripped, stolen by Jizzle James, and you wouldn't believe it, they threw it away. They threw it away. Turnover number 8 for Cincinnati tonight.
When you look at it, it really comes more of communication out there on the floor. Dylan Mitchell not having his head up as Jizzle James got the steal, trying to work down the court. And if I'm Wes Miller, I'm in my huddle every time saying, pay attention. Look up. You can't just dribble with your head down. You can't run down the court. You don't know. This is why you practice 3-man weaves.
Backdoor cut, and the flush is there. That's Amani Hansberry. Great ball movement right there by the Mountaineers. He has 4 points. Mountaineers up by 12. James has it. Straight away, finds Skillings at the left wing. Transition straight away, finds Josh Reed. Reed And he lost it. He tried to find Mitchell. It's another turnover for the Bearcats.
And the Mountaineers just being in the passing lane every time Cincinnati has the ball, having their hand out, just able to use that bear paw and take it away.
Okani, left wing, foul's called underneath. It's going to be on Jizzle James. I like that. Use the bear paw underneath. Did I say that right?
Bear paw?
Bear paw, okay. Okay, I like it. I like it. Mountaineers up by 12. They'll inbound it. 2:18 left to go in the first half. 33-21 is our score. Here comes a late substitution. Day Thomas comes in for Jizzle James. Tyler Betsy comes in for Josh Reed.
Good that Day Thomas is in for the Bearcats. 8 points for him, getting that start as well. First start all season long.
Tenor inbounds it to Okani. He couldn't control it. He lost it. Dylan Mitchell will bring the ball up the court. Thomas has it. Penetrates, finds Lukosius at the right wing. Gives it back out to Skillings at the left wing. Skillings drives in, goes off the glass, can't fall, rebounded by Hansberry. Under 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Here's Small, has it at the right wing, trying to work on Thomas. Nice move, goes inside, layup off the glass. It's good. There's no stopping Javal Small. 14 points on the night. Mountaineers up by 14.
He's putting on a clinic in the first half. 14 points, most of those coming from behind the arc, but when he's able to get that first quick step and work down low, there's no way of stopping him.
Here's Lukosius in the paint. That one is blocked by Okani. 1:30 left to go. Here's Small, working on Mitchell. Bounce pass underneath to Hansberry. The mismatch on Thomas goes off the glass, and that's good. 6 points for Hansberry. Mountaineers up 37-21. I think everyone here is stunned right now. Almost lost it. Gives it out to Thomas straight away. Finds Lukosius at the right wing. Lukosius goes inside, goes off the glass. That rims out. Fight for it. A foul is called. And it's going to be on Okani. But I think the overall, if I could describe this arena in one word, I think everyone is just stunned.
I would say you could hear a pin drop with how quiet it's been recently. There has not been many exciting plays. And if you're Wes Miller, you got to find something. You might have to go deeper in your depth. Look for someone else to make that spark happen. And you have to have your players not rush their shots. When Cincinnati's down in games, normally they just chuck up shots. They kind of just hope it goes in. And recently, that's what they've done on these losing streaks.
Lukosius at the line. He made the first one. He makes the second one. Bearcats down by 14, 23-37. Lukosius 8 points on the night. 54.3 remaining in the first half. We'll take another quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Fifth Third Arena. 23-37 is the score here, where the Mountaineers have trounced the Cincinnati Bearcats in the first half with 54 seconds to go. Wes Miller calling a timeout. And Christian, if you're the head coach of the Bearcats, what are you telling your players who have just pretty much given up this first half?
Anything could happen. It's sports. Anything could happen. I mean, we saw it in the Houston game. The Mountaineers were down by 10 early on, but they fought all their way back. And at a point, it was a 5-point game. Ultimately, they couldn't hold on, but if I'm telling my players, if I'm Wes Miller, there's still a lot of game left to be played. There's a whole nother half to be played, and you shouldn't give up here. Don't think you're out, because anything could happen. As Small brings up the ball, they bring the double, throws it up in the air, deflected, but there's Powell. He recovers it, dishes it off, and that's stolen by Day Thomas. Bearcats pushing up the court, 35 seconds left to go. Thomas goes baseline, and it goes out of bounds. He tried to find Lukosius. The ball hit Hansberry. Bounce out of bounds. Bearcats will inbound it.
And it's interesting to look at the steals, too. West Virginia, 8 steals on the night, and not many turnovers either, with only 5, with that 5th one just coming in with that Day Thomas steal.
Lukosius will inbound it, finds Skilling straight away. Finds Lukosius, a spot up 3 from the left wing. It's no good. Josh Reed with the rebound, though. Reed goes up, foul is called. He'll go to the line. 24 seconds remaining.
Josh Reed coming down with that rebound. And it's good to see Cincinnati fight through those rebounds, too. Offensive rebounds is how you get second chances. And Cincinnati needs to get as many second chances as they can, with being down 15, 23-37 with 24 seconds to go in the first half.
Bearcats, their last field goal make was 3:55 remaining in this first half, as Reed makes the first free throw. Looking at Josh Reed, junior out of Atlanta, Georgia, he had a plus 13 against Utah. That's the 3rd highest in a loss in the Wes Miller era, but he did have 5 fouls. Crazy stat. Second free throw is up. That's nothing but net. Josh Reed makes them both. Bearcats trail 25-37. 24 seconds left to go in the first half. Mountaineers inbound it. Bearcats initiate a press. Small. Finds Powell, back up to Small. 13 seconds left. They're going to get organized for the last play of this half. Guarded by Mitchell. 7 seconds left. Small creeping. Bring the double. Here's Yesufu, a 3-pointer. Nothing but net. Joseph Yesufu nails it. The Mountaineers go into halftime up 40-25. Yesufu 6 points, but it's been all Javon Small. 14 points in that first half.
Javon Small, the most athletic person out there on the court. So shifty, hard to stop, and with a wide frame of being 6'3", 190, it's like a wrecking ball coming down to the paint and being able to finish at the rim.
Looking at the Mountaineers, they're shooting 55% from the floor, and 55% from the floor and from 3. Cincinnati, on the other hand, 26% from the floor, shooting 7 of 27. The Mountaineers close out that half, making 4 consecutive field goals. Now they have a 15-point lead heading into halftime.
And for Cincinnati, you can't go out of this halftime with your heads down low. You do have some positives. They have struggled recently throughout the entire season in free throws. They're 7 for 7. You have to use that as momentum. Look at all the positives. You were able to almost get an alley-oop, finish. You're almost out-rebounding a team that against Houston only had 19 rebounds. Something has awakened in the Mountaineers, and if Cincinnati can't figure it out, this game may be good as gone.
Mountaineers up 40-25. It's halftime here at Fifth Third Arena. We'll take a break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. KC Stevens, Christian McGowan bring you action from Fifth Third Arena.
All right, we're back here at Fifth Third Arena. It's halftime of the Cincinnati-West Virginia game. West Virginia up 40-25 over the Bearcats. Stuff is not looking good for Cincinnati offensively, shooting 25% from the field, shooting actually 40% from deep, and they've hit all their foul shots. They just cannot seem to find any sort of offensive flow.
Yeah, I tweeted out, ugly might be an understatement. I mean, that was just not pretty on any front for the Bearcats. 0 for their last 5 to end out that half. I mean, it's just, there's not much positive that you can take from that. A couple of the nicer things you had, Day Thomas kind of stepped up a little bit. He's got 8 points in the day. Dylan Mitchell working off the glass a little well. He's got 6 rebounds. But there's really just not much else that's been good for the Cats.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking around at Day Thomas and Seamus Lukosius with 8 points and really just trying to find their way at the foul line. But then on the flip side for West Virginia, it's been all Javon Small. 14 points, 5 for 8 from the field, 3 for 5 from deep. They're shooting 55% from the field and 54% from deep, 6 for 11. It is so tough to defend a team. They're out there shooting the 3 really well, and that's just what West Virginia's been doing. Flowing offense.
You know, the thing, too, with Javon Small that's been really impressive to me is that he's a 6'3" guard, and a lot of his points have come against the bigger guys. Dylan Mitchell got some on Seamus Lukosius inside. I mean, he's making his presence known in a way that you wouldn't expect from him. I've been really impressed with how he's played offensively.
Cincinnati has 8 offensive rebounds, but just trying to find their way. And on the flip side, West Virginia's been protecting the rim pretty well with 3 blocks compared to Cincinnati's 1. And then, you know, looking at the turnovers, that's been a big story. West Virginia only having 5 and Cincinnati having 9, on pace for 18.
Yeah, and I think another big thing has been Jizzle James has 3 of those. He's 3 of the 9 turnovers for the Bearcats, and really he just has looked sloppy the entire time. It's been sloppy play the entire game for the Cats. And I feel like he stood out the most of anyone. He's made some errant passes, had a couple chances to get some easy steals. They kind of just gave up on him, didn't get them. Just hasn't been pretty.
The big question we ask a lot during these games is about the offense. Again, the team's only scored 25 points, on pace for 50 at this rate. Stagnant offense. It's tough to say exactly what the problem is with this, whether it's ball movement, whether it's trying to attack inside, or whether it's just guys making shots.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's there offensively. You got to figure something out. It's been like this the entire year, especially in Big 12 play. I mean, the Cats aren't averaging more than 70 points. Maybe at this point it might be under 65 points in Big 12 play. I mean, it just hasn't been there in any way, shape, or form. They're on a pace right now. It'd be similar final score to that Kansas game when they only scored 43 points. I mean, it was just ugly.
I'm looking at like recent trends before the half was over. All bad for the Bearcats. They didn't hit a shot, a field goal, in the last 3:55 of the first half. They were 1 of their last 8 field goals and 0 for their last 5, as West Virginia hit on 4 for 4. No Wendy's involved. Hit on 4 for 4 to end the half.
I mean, all credit to the Mountaineers. I mean, they've stepped up to the plate when the Cats have given them the opportunity, and they've made the most of it. I mean, it's been really impressive. This is a Mountaineers squad that's had some bigger wins on the season. Of course, just took down Iowa State. But, man, the Bearcats were favored coming into this game.
That's the big story.
I mean, that's the problem. When these fans that are here came in today and the Bearcats were a 6-point favorite, they expected it to be a close game, and it just hasn't been there for the Cats today, and it's just been pitiful.
And then you look around with the energy here in the arena, there's none.
It's dead.
It's dead. It's a Sunday, and obviously a lot of different factors play into, you know, if the team's winning and everything else, then obviously there'll be more fans in the stands, more energy and stuff. But it just feels as though the team came out flat. The crowd came in here, didn't really have a whole lot of energy as well. And there's no blame either way when it comes to the fans or anything else, because the fans are still coming out and supporting. But the team's got to figure something out here in the second half, because this, already down 15 points, this could get really, really ugly if things do not change quick.
Almost as ugly as that first half-court attempt we just saw taken. That thing missed everything.
Oh, my.
Sorry, that was kind of... That one wasn't much better. Sorry about that one.
We're getting boos right now?
We're getting boos on the half-court shot.
Dude,
this crowd is not happy today.
Not one bit.
But, you know, we're talking about finding that spark. Something that we did see kind of early in the first half. You hadn't seen in Big 12 plays Rayvon Griffith.
Yeah.
Rayvon stepped up.
And he got in early, he got in fast, he was running all over the place, got a big rebound, big putback, layup as well. I mean, we didn't see him much after that moment. Could Rayvon be something that sparks this team offensively in some way? Such a, highly rated prospect coming in, local guy as well. The crowd erupted, too, when he both entered the floor and did anything. They got to find something, and could Rayvon be an answer?
When stress comes into play, you got to go around and try to change some things. And again, with Rayvon not being on the court, and him being from the hometown of here in Cincinnati, Ohio, being the 4-star recruit, went to Taft, great high school career, redshirted last year. Give him a chance. Give Rayvon a chance. You are like you mentioned, you saw what the crowd did. You saw what he did when he was in the game. It's definitely broke right now, so you gotta fix it. Now, I'm not saying Rayvon is the guy to fix it, but he might be the starting point in trying to get a new jolt for this team.
Then you got to find something. We saw him, too, to start out the game. He had a different look out there. Day Thomas started out instead of Dan Skillings. Didn't really work much in the beginning, but Day, as I mentioned earlier, stepped up with 8 points, 4 rebounds. No one else is really doing that so far. I mean, you got to find something. 25 points and a half in a Big 12 game just isn't going to cut it.
Casey Stevens and Chris Pagan will be back on here for the second half call for the rest of this game. And Chase Yountz, Aiden Riggs, and we'll see you guys here on the other side.
Welcome back to Fifth Third Arena, home of the Cincinnati Bearcats, who are down 25-40. I'm Casey Stevens with Christian Pergon. Christian, interesting way to end that first half for the Bearcats. Not able to make anything fall.
I think interesting might be an understatement. I think it was just disappointing. That's a more accurate representation, I would say, but we talked about it. They went the final 3:55 without scoring a field goal. And this game is really giving me vibes of the Oklahoma State game last year. You know, there's some things on the line, and it's against an opponent in which you should win, but you maybe overestimate the opponent, or underestimate them rather, and it just messes with you, you know, mentally, and I think that's what's happening. You know, they're uncharacteristic. Turnovers, sloppy play, no communication. This is very disappointing to see, to say the least.
And Cincinnati, 9 turnovers in that first half, a team that doesn't regularly turn over the ball.
We talked about it sometime in that first half. They had 4 straight games coming into today with single-digit turnovers. They're 15th national and 9.8 turnovers per game. They have 9 in the first half. It's not a good sign, and it's almost like a jinx here in this media guide right here. They put it in bold. They definitely had to jinx it. But they really got to take care of the ball. And I talked about it. The second half, it's a whole new half. It's a whole different ball game. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Lukosius, Thomas, Reed, Bandego, and Mitchell out there for the Bearcats. Thomas working at cross court over to Mitchell in the corner. Tries to attack, guarded quickly by one of the top players, Okani. Swings it over to Reed on that left wing. Lukosius works with his right hand. Pull-up jumper from the top of the key, in and out. Bandego swats it up into the air. Rebound quickly by Hansberry.
This is a fun matchup. Day-Day Thomas and Javon Small. I mean, a very, very great offensive player in Small and a very, very great defender in Day-Day Thomas. So far, Small's got the best of Thomas.
Okani works with the left hand. Tries to drive in around Mitchell. Picks up his dribble. Goes down low quickly to Harris. Lukosius on him tightly as the clock dips under 4 to shoot. Harris drives in, puts up the floater off the backboard. Mitchell comes down with the rebound.
I think Harris was unaware of how much time was actually left on the shot clock. He was a little surprised when he went with the hezzy.
Reed in the corner, works with his left. Top of the key to Thomas. Lukosius works into the paint over to Bandego. Tries to cut down low. Thomas works into the paint, floaters up off the back iron, rebounded by Bandego. Shot resets to 20. Lukosius works with the right into the paint, puts up the floater, and it's blocked, quickly rebounded by Small. Works up the court, has an easy lane. Ball's in the air, rebounded by Bandego, blocked by Mitchell.
For the second half, I would like to see Cincinnati get into their offensive set much quicker. There's too much, you know, stagnant movement. No players are really moving that much when they're working the ball around. They're taking too much time off the clock.
Mitchell with 15. Goes for the alley-oop pass to Bandego and throws it down. That first 2 points of the second half come from the Bearcats.
And that's Bandego's first bucket of the game. I thought we'd get him more involved early on.
And we did highlight him as one of those players that we thought would have a big game. He slowed down recently, past 5 games, just averaging around 5.5. And getting his first bucket in the second half will give him that momentum as the foul's called on Dylan Mitchell, a transfer from Texas. Checking in is Andre, 5th-year senior for West Virginia. As Okani passes it in to Harris. Over to the star player for the Mountaineers and Javon Small, the transfer from Oklahoma State. One of those top guards in the transfer portal. 9th in the nation is no good as Mitchell comes down with the rebound. Thomas past the timeline. Fouls called on the Mountaineers and Andre fighting with Bandego.
And another interesting thing, to start the half, no Jizzle James. Shooting 0 of 4 from the floor, 3 turnovers. Plus minus a -13.
And James, being a starter with Thomas, we thought that connection would work together, like we mentioned, They didn't really start well last season, but this season picking it up. James having that starting role over Thomas. Wes Miller may just want to start with a more bigger lineup and saw some advantages to that.
Yeah, I mean, Jizzle James had a team-high 18 points against Utah. Tonight, 0 points.
Bandego works down low, tries to put up some post moves. No foul called as that got blocked. Working up the court now is Powell, the freshman. Down low, pass to Harris. Works it back up to the top of the key. Josh Reed guarding him tightly, works with the right. Quickly over to Powell. Over to Andre, giving it to Small. Small at the top of the key. Tightly guarded by Thomas. Works with the right hand into the lane. Floaters up, no good. Mitchell comes down with his 7th rebound. And fighting with him is Andre. His foul's called on him. You can just feel a little bit more energy from the crowd now. And Cincinnati's taking it with them, not allowing the Mountaineers to even get any buckets.
You know, this is what happened against Houston for the Mountaineers. They had a slow start, against the Cougars. They had a slow start, and in that second half, their defense really started paving the way for the entire team. And you know, they made it a 5-point deficit. They were down by 15 and making it 5 points, and then they just kind of let it go away. But this is kind of what's feeling like so far for Cincinnati.
As foul is called on, I believe, AZ Bandego. Blocking foul's called on him. Bersimas Lukosic had a chance for a wide open 3. To go back on your point, Mountaineers slow start, right? They start their half slow and then they pick it up. We saw them go on an 8-0 run earlier as Rayvon Griffiths checks in Van Favorite out of Cincinnati, Ohio for, I believe, Bandego.
So once again, a much smaller lineup for UC.
Small now, guarded tightly by Thomas. 2 shifty players going back and forth tonight. 8 for Thomas and 14 for Small. Guarded by Griffiths now. Mitchell comes in. Pass down low to Hansberry as he tries to roll around Rayvon Griffith. As Griffiths called for the foul.
I don't really agree with that call. With Griffith guarding Hansberry, it's kind of a mismatch, but they're going to call it Griffith with the wrap when Hansberry is clearly lowering his shoulder, and he's not really extending that elbow. He's making a lot of contact, though, but it may be something to keep an eye on.
Harris down low pass to Small. Works behind the arc with 11 to go on the shot clock. Step back, 3's up, and good as he drills it in on Day Thomas. Lukosius over to Thomas, past the C-Paul. Tries to work quickly as the ball stolen away by Harris. Goes to the cross-court pass, over to Small. Back over to Harris. Left wing 3 is up. No good. Mitchell comes down with the rebound. Works quickly over to Reed. Wide open space as he slows it down with 25 to go on that shot clock. Tries to back down his defender in Okani. Works with down low. Shots up. And it's good. As foul's called, he's going to the line for one more.
Nice play right there by Josh Reed. But Cincinnati, I mean, they got to tighten it up. These turnovers are beginning to get a little too much.
It has been. But stay tuned here with Bearcat Sports Radio as we take a small break. Welcome back to fifth, third after the media timeout. 29-43, where the Bearcats have gone on a 7-3 run. First 5 minutes of play, Casey Stevens to Christian Dragon. Christian, a little bit of NBA action as well. Javon Small looks to be one of those contenders, to be one of those picks of one of the 60, and to announce the big trade last night as well.
I mean, Luka to the Lakers. Nobody expected this to happen. I mean, that was crazy.
Lukosius throws it up to Mitchell, and he throws it down. Make this a 31-43 point game.
There we go. That's what the Bearcats need. They finally connect on one of those lobs. So earlier, we saw it. They couldn't connect. I think they missed about 2 or 3 of them. Good to see that one fall down.
Small goes down low to Hansberry. Guarded by Mitchell. Over to Okani. Tries to throw it over Rayvon Griffith. And able to get that one in. Luck of a bounce. James now works past the timeline with the left hand, trying to shake off the strong defense of Harris. Works down low, spins around, blocking foul's called on the Mountaineers. Sincere Harris called for the foul. The sophomore, 6'4" out of Canton, Ohio, transfer from Illinois, as he's checking out. Checking in is KJ Tenner, freshman guard. Last game, only 4 minutes of action for him, but so far, he's been able to pick it up, get a little more action in this game.
Yeah, especially on how thin West Virginia has become. He's going to see a bigger opportunity.
James not able to finish the wide open layup. 0-5 start for him after an 18-point performance in the last game.
I think that right there, it's just one of those nights. It's just one of those bad nights you want to forget if you're Jizzle James. But once again, a lot of game left to be played.
James guarding Small tightly, step back 3, no good. Skillings comes down with the rebound. He's been quiet tonight as well. Cross court pass to James, thought about the 3. Picks it up with the right hand, goes behind the back. Over to Griffith, tries the jab step, picks up his dribble. Skillings in the left corner. Down low to Griffith, tries to back down. Jonathan Powell, the freshman, throws up the shot, foul's called. He's going to the line for 2 shots.
So with Rayvon Griffith, we've seen a lot of confidence out of him. We saw on that possession right there, he's not afraid of who's his opponent, and he's going against Jonathan Powell, freshman, and that's the confidence we want to see. You know, the Bearcats need a spark, and they're looking at Griffith to provide that spark. I think he's done a great job so far in the action we've seen tonight.
And the fans love him. If you can get the momentum and that energy, you will just feel electric in that game as Day Thomas looks to check in for Jizzle James. James and Skillings, both in no scoring for them, 2 of the leading scorers throughout the entire season for the Bearcats.
And I think we've seen that quite a bit, in which you do have an unexpected player get hot tonight. That'll be Day Thomas, no disrespect. And then you see times where it's like, okay, when one player gets hot, your other 2 star players get cold. It's like you want to envision everyone's hot at the same time. You don't want to play this hot, cold game with different players.
And excuse me, the substitution for Simas Lukosius as James stays in. Thomas has done well against Javon Small as he gets the ball. Top near the 5th-3rd Boger. Tries to get around Dylan Mitchell, one of the star defenders. Bad pass down low to Hansberry. With Day Thomas trying to guard him. Hansberry just uses the height difference, standing at 6'8", to get that one to go in.
It was a mismatch there, and if you're a Hansberry, you're taking on Day Thomas, who's only 6'1". That's, you know, that's barbecue chicken.
33-47, 13:20 to go in the second half. Day Thomas step back 3's up. Off the back iron. James thought about the rebound, not able to get it. Sincere Harris comes down with it over to Small.
I think him and Skillings miscommunicated once on that rebound. I think Skillings had it, and James might have knocked it away.
Small drives in, foul's called. He's going to the line for 2 shots. Checking in for the Bearcats, Bandego and Betsy. Betsy's had a night as well. He's been active on the offensive end and the defensive.
And he's also one of those players that had a pretty good start, but as the team went into a slump, you know, all the players did too. Looking at Tyler Betsy, before conference play, he shot 40% from deep. During conference play, he's shooting 20% coming into this match. So if we can get him going, and he's played pretty well so far today, that's another big addition for the Bearcats, especially coming off the bench. We talked about how many assets they have. They could run an 8, 9, potentially even a 10-man rotation. But when you're trying to figure out what to do, you're trying to figure out a spark, that's when things get kind of confusing. Because you might have Rayvon play a few minutes and he won't play the next game. It's all different, but they need to find a rhythm.
As Small is able to knock down both free throws. Checking in is Andre as well for Hansberry, and Javon Small, the Big 12 leading scorer, sits down. 19 points already, averages 19 on the season. He slowed down in that second half just a little bit. Started with 14, only able to pick up 5. But Cincinnati has awakened as well. Started the second half with 25. It's 33-49. Jizzle James and Day Thomas, the backcourt. Thomas tries to shake off his defender, works into the paint, wide open layup, throws it up, tries to draw the foul, not able to. Skillings fights for the rebound, taken away by Yusefo. Yusefo works past the timeline, near that 5th third logo. Top of the key pass over to Andre. Bandego guarding him tightly. Picks up his dribble, tries to work it down low to Powell, the freshman. Betsy guarding him. Over to Andre. Bandego getting back down by Andre's big build. Throws it up with the right hand. No good. Bandego comes down with the rebound. James now works past the timeline. Goes quick as he tries to drive and draw the foul. No foul called.
He had Betsy wide open in the corner.
Yusefo. Cross-court pass to Okani. Far side of the court. Skillings guarding him tightly. Tries to work into the paint. Day Thomas comes with the trap. Ball's thrown into the air. No one's around to get it. Jonathan Powell comes down with it. 10 on the shot clock. Top of the key now is Yusefo. Over to Tenor. Tenor tries to work around James. Throws it in. No one to get it. Thomas now on the attack. 3 versus 1. Thomas over to Betsy. Betsy with it up, and it's in. 35-49. Tyler Betsy gets the layup.
5 points early on, and it's good to see the Bearcats actually convert on a fast break, because the Mountaineers had men, trailing them, but overall, good possession by the Bearcats, and they need to take advantage while Small is on the bench.
And Cincinnati shooting better this second half as well, as Betsy was shoved to the ground by Okani after the steal. Foul's called on him as another media timeout is here. 35-49 is the score with 11:17 left to play. Stay tuned here with Bearcat Sports Radio as we will take a short break.
So looking at West Virginia tonight, they're shooting 49% from the floor and 50% from deep. But this team hasn't hit their full potential. We talked about the transfers they brought in. They brought in Jaden Stone. They brought in Tucker DeVries. Both of these players have been injured, and Jaden Stone averaged 20 points per game last year on that Detroit Mercy team that went 1 for 31. Not going to talk about that. DeVries was averaging 15 points per game this year before he got hurt. Just imagine the Mountaineers had DeVries and Jaden Stone in this lineup.
Much more dominant team in the 14-point lead that they have. 11-11 to go in the second half. 35-49. Bearcats on the attack. Mandego, top of the key. Over to Lukosius, top of the key. Three's up. No good. Shots not falling for the Bearcats tonight. 4 of 12 behind the arc. Coming up court, Joseph Yusefo, the transfer from Washington State. Now playing in the Big 12 from the Pac-12. Javon Small able to work around the defender. No good on the layup. Thomas works up court. Over to Lukosius. Poked away by Small. On the attack now is Harris. Goes up with the layup. Bandego comes in. Tries to swat that one away. I believe it's off the hands of Thomas.
And it's going to be Mountaineer ball, but on the fast break with Sincere Harris, when you have Aziz Bandego trailing you, layup's not going to work.
Someone who's 7 foot with a 7'5" wingspan.
Look at the replay of Bandego coming down, chasing down, closing that gap.
Mountaineers on the inbound. Over to the star player of the game, 19 points Small. Quick over to Yusefo, works around Betsy, picks up his dribble in the paint. And hook shot's good, 35-51. Bearcats down. 10:20 to go, Thomas passes the timeline. Betsy, hard screen. Thomas down low, in the lane, throws it up, blocked. Bandego comes down with the board. Ball's out of bounds, poked out of his hands. Stays with the Bearcats.
For Cincinnati on defense, we'll start there. They are late to react to screens that the Mountaineers are setting. They're behind. They're trailing their man, and that's why they're getting these open looks and these open opportunities. They got to get around the screens.
And more changes for the Bearcats as Mitchell and Reed check in. Fouls called on Sincere Harris. Reach in. Shooting foul. Lukosius at the line for 2. And if you're Cincinnati, 9 for 9 from the line. You're looking nice. Struggled early in this season. Overall, not the best shooting team from the line either, just shooting roughly 65%. Lukosius is not able to stay perfect for the team.
Dude, the announcers jinx.
It happened earlier.
9 for 9, man, and they missed. That one's on you, Casey.
It did happen earlier for the Bearcats in my Tyler Betsy three-pointer call. As Andre loses a dribble. Bearcats retain possession as Thomas slows it down. Over to Mitchell. Oh, cross court, intercepted by Jonathan Powell, throws it up and down as the Mountaineers have an electrifying play. 35-53, 9:38 to play.
Simple play. I mean, he just read the eyes of the Bearcat player at the ball. I think it was Lukosius, I think. He just read the eyes, and he tracked that ball like a free safety, came down, jumped the route, intercepted it, and had a free path to the basket. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that if you're Jonathan Powell. And he flushed that one with authority, too.
Jonathan Powell, just a freshman. We did say this kind of a little bit of homecoming from him from Centerville, Ohio, the 6'6" guard. Overall, throughout the season, he's been a strong scorer, roughly around 9 points a game, gets an amazing flush there. And throughout the entire game, 7 points, 3 rebounds. He's been active on offense, be able to fight on defense too. But he's made a few mistakes. He's an aggressive defender. He likes to reach in a lot. And granted, it did help with him getting that intercepted pass and taking it all the way to the rim, but we've also seen a few fouls called him as well.
Yeah, but when you look at Powell, like you said, he's a freshman. With the injuries of Jaden Stone and Tucker DeVries, you're looking at if those two players were healthy, which there's a big question mark if they're even going to return this year. There's a lot of uncertainty. Powell was put into a position to succeed because of those two injuries. If they're healthy, maybe Powell's not getting, those minutes in the game because you have Jaden Stone and DeVries. But because they're out, he's had to leap up and take a bigger role within a team, and he's done great. I mean, he's averaging 9 points per game, shooting 38% from the floor as a freshman. For someone that had that late notice, like, hey, here's a bigger role than you envisioned at first, I think he's doing a good job.
For shooting 38%, 10% better than what the Bearcats are shooting tonight, 26% from the field, 11 of 41. And overall, if you're a Mountaineers fan, you're enjoying this game. You're sitting back, you're on a roller coaster, it's just going up from here for you. Shooting 48%, 50 from behind the arc. And from the line, that's been your only struggle. You've only gotten there 6 times. If you're the head coach of the Mountaineers, I'm telling my team to attack. Get to the line, draw fouls.
I mean, if you're Darren DeVries, I totally agree. You have to keep your foot on the gas. Even though you're up by 18 right now, I'm going to mention it again. This team was down 20 to Houston, and they cut the deficit to 5 points in that second half. So anything is still possible, but you have to keep the foot on your gas because, no doubt, 110%, you've been the better team the entire day.
And for Cincinnati, it's not over yet, right? You have to have that mentality. 9:38 to go, 35 to 53, down 18. If I'm Wes Miller, I'm telling my players, don't give up, right? Get those easy buckets. Find your spots, get on your floor, shoot the ball. And I mean, granted, it is cliche, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? And for these players, you have multiple guys who are known to step up. It's been an off day for Skillings. It's been an off day for James. But Day Thomas, he's been quiet in the second half.
I mean, look at him shooting now, 3 of 12. At a point, that was 3 of 8. He had a good start. He's definitely cooled off. But it goes back to you need a spark. But it's difficult because you saw Griffith come in. You saw Josh Reed come in. They're trying. They're trying to get a spark. Wes Miller is really trying to get a spark. But you can't disrupt chemistry too. Because if you're Griffith, you're playing 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there. It's not entirely fair to him because he's losing his rhythm. If you understand what I'm saying.
And the amount of different lineups that we've seen from Wes Miller tonight, it's been 5 different lineups of different guys in different combinations. And so far, none of them has worked as James gets the 3, airballs it, as Dan Skillings finally scores. It's been 31 minutes for Dan Skillings before he gets his first bucket.
I mean, that's the thing too. This team, they're just getting cold. Your stars have to be stars. And when they don't perform, like James hasn't today, Skillings hasn't today, it's really, really hard for a team to do well.
Javon Small dribbles it, 8 to shoot, tries to get around James. Looks down low, looks for the 3. James on him like glue. 2 to go. Has to throw something up. Shot clock violation. Defense by the Cincinnati Bearcats steps up for what it seems to be the first time all game.
Once again, Sincere Harris had another blunder right there. Lost track of the shot clock. The second time that's happened to him this game. But you gotta wonder if he got a little sidetracked because how much dribbling Javon Small was actually taking up time.
Javon Small attempting to get the entire left side of that court open to try and run around James, but Cincinnati playing man, you have to stick with your guy, but if you go to a zone, you kind of give that up too. You have a chance to throw something different at them. 14 to go as Lukosius tries to drive in, tries to throw up a shot, blocked away by Andre. Up the court now, Javon Small. Bandego mismatch. Tries to switch, Bandego on him quickly, throws it up to Yusefo and drills it over James's head. 37 to 56, Cincinnati down.
11 points for Yusefo, and Mountaineers are going away with this one.
James now tries to work around, gets to his mid-range shot, not able to knock it down as Yusefo has a 2-on-1. Goes over to Powell. Over to Harris now, top of the key to Andre. Javon Small swings it over to Yusefo, 3's up and good. Drills it once again, 37-59, Wes Miller timeout.
Oh, that's nasty, man. That's nasty. That is nasty. Back-to-back 3s for Yusefo. And I mean, the fans are heading for the exits right now. That's, wow. I said it before, everyone was stunned. And everyone's just unhappy. They're displeased with the performance. Mountaineers came to play ball today.
Mountaineers I said a sleeper team ranked in this season, taking down multiple ranked opponents, 3 top 10, but for it to be a 37-59 point game, Cincinnati back in another slump.
I mean, you start to lose answers. You don't know how to answer questions. Like, when you look at this team, what do you say? What is wrong with them? What is the problem? And it's baffling because this team is so talented, and there was so much high hope and so much praise for this incoming class that they had via the portal, bring a couple freshmen, Betsy, and then you get a product like this, and it's gut-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching. But just throughout the year, they're inconsistent. Everyone has been inconsistent. Jizzle James, 0 of 8. He had 18 points against Utah. It's just this team can't find a rhythm. And it seems like I'm going on a rant, but it's just the true fact. They can't find a rhythm at all.
Now, if you look at current trends for the Cincinnati Bearcats, their last 4-game losing streak, Kansas State, Arizona, Baylor, and then a ranked opponent in Kansas, where they only scored 40 points against that Kansas team. Cincinnati had one of their worst offensive showings all year. So far, only 37 points tonight. Not shooting the best, 27% from the field. Overall, if you're Cincinnati, you have 7 minutes to go. Make this as close as you can. You don't want to fully get blown out, right? You're trying to build a sandcastle here, and the wave's just coming in and crashing it away.
I like that. I really like that one. That's a good one. Seriously, if you're Coach Wes Miller, you just tell your team, win these final 8 minutes. Just win the final 8 minutes. You know, outscore them, play harder than them. Just win these final 8 minutes right here.
And those final 8 minutes, I believe he's going to try and go deeper in his head. You may see some other players hit the floor. C.J. Frederick, we may see get in at some point in this game if he gets out of hands. But overall, Cincinnati, one of their worst performing offenses that we've seen overall. And it's not going to get easier from here. You have UCF on the road, and then you're playing BYU, who beat you by 30 earlier. And then you go back and play Utah, and then Iowa State as your ranked opponent on the 15th. Cincinnati has it going for them, and they need to make something happen here as James, Reed, Skillings, and Mitchell out there on the court. Press defense from the Mountaineers. You mentioned it. Do not take your foot off the gas pedal.
I like seeing the press defense. You're up by 22, 7:35 left to go. Press them. I love seeing that, seriously.
As Skillings drives in, over to Reed in the corner. Works with his left hand. Tries to get into the paint. Throws up a shot. Foul's called on Toby O'Connie, the 5th-year guard, as Reed's going to the line for 2 shots.
See a lot this game. Over the past couple games, too, Josh Reed has had a lot of confidence with the offensive end and driving into the paint. And look, he's drawing fouls. He's drawing fouls.
And Josh Reed, throughout his season, I would say, not getting many minutes. He's picked it up in the past 8 games, averaging just around 10 minutes per game compared to his 3 that he started with. And it's more in conference play. That means Wes Miller's really trusting him too, expecting him to make something happen as he's able to get the first one. At the line for a second shot, and it's good. Rayvon Griffiths checks back in as Jizzle James going to the bench. Tough night for James. No points for him, only a rebound and only assist.
Yeah, but looking at Josh Reed, I mean, 6 points on the night for Reed. And he's one of those, I would say, veteran leaders. You know, he's been with this team, you know, for 3 years now. He knows Wes Miller personally. And to answer your question, you know, going deep in your rotation, going deep to your lineup, they have to solve problems. And I need someone who's going to give me a spark.
And for Cincinnati's offense, coming into after that first half, going 7 of 27, so far only being able to knock down 5 more shots.
Just inconsistent.
O'Connie for the Mountaineers, top of the key. 12 to go. Over to Small, fouls called, kick ball violation on Reed. 7:05, 39-59, the score. Mountaineers leading. 20-point lead for him. Biggest lead all game. Highest lead in that first quarter was 8 for them. Cincinnati's highest lead, half. Cincinnati's highest lead and their only lead of all game as Skillings comes up with the steal, goes around, not able to finish the layup, throws it up off the back iron, and gets another bucket to go for him. At 6:43, Dan Skillings gets his second bucket in. 41-59, Javon Small, 18 to go on the shot clock for the Mountaineers. Over now to Harris. Harris with the right-hand pass to Yusepo. Back over to Harris. Javon Small thought about the in and out. Goes over on that right wing, double teamed by Mitchell and Thomas. Tries to drive in, goes to the mid-range, tries to draw the foul. Air ball is up as Thomas now has the advantage. 4v5. Slows it down over to Reed. Top of the key to Thomas. Over to the left wing to Griffith. Skillings tries to drive in, throws it up on the backboard and gets another layup in. Skillings is attempting to find that spark and light the fire for the Bearcats.
Overall, nice few possessions for Skillings. You know, right there on that last one, he got the ball in the corner and just lowered his head and drove in on that along that baseline. Got a nice layup off the glass for a bucket.
And Skillings struggled earlier in that first half. A lot of the Cincinnati Bearcats not able to dribble the ball the best either. You can consistently see them lose it or it would get stolen away, and passing was an issue in that first half. Second half, we've seen turnovers limited. We've seen a few plays where players are finding their spots. Skillings is finally able to use his 3 steps and get to the rim and not get a travel called or turn the ball over.
Yeah, and he's one of these leaders. He's one of the leaders on this team. As though he had a lot of high praise and high aspiration, but you have to wonder, though, when he had that knee surgery back in the fall, that's most likely still lingering with him. Because he still wears a knee brace, and really, it's been 2 different Skillings compared to last year to this year. It's been kind of 2 different players, but you gotta wonder if that knee injury is really having more of an effect than what people think. Because it was reported as just a minor knee procedure. But you gotta wonder, is there something, you know, a little more going on there?
And to go on that point, something that may be going on there, we have not seen much of Arrington Page in this game, other than the first half of where he played 3 minutes. And Wes Miller has not gone to him at all in the second half.
And I think that's because you have to go with the small lineup. You have to go with guys that can shoot mid-range shots and 3-point shots. Page can't really do that.
5 on the shot clock. Ball's out of bounds off the hands of Toby Okani, as the fans finally able to make something happen with a little bit of energy. 59-43 with 5:33 to go. Mountaineers not taking off this press defense that we've seen in the past 3 minutes of play.
Keep it going.
Thomas
Keep it going.
Works around his defender, right hand into the corner to Reed. Reed, most minutes all season in this game. So far, he's played 14. Thomas now drives in, right hand layup is good, makes this a 45-59 point game, 5:11 to go. If I'm Wes Miller, I'm telling my team, continue what we're doing, get to our spots. And so far, they've gone 3 for 3 for their last shots.
And it really, like we said, you have to find that right lineup. In times like this where things aren't going your way, you have to find your right lineup. And by the way it's looking, if it continues, they just found the right lineup just too late in the game. And simply ran out of time.
You also want players with fresh legs. That's a mismatch. Taken away, block over to Skillings. Griffith now slows it down, goes for the spin move, tries to drive in over Small, no good. Coming down with the rebound is Hansberry.
That was just excitement right there for Griffith. He had a little too much confidence on that drive right there.
He got excited with the ball as Javon Small able to dish it away to Okani. 4:20 to play, 45-61. Cincinnati has struggled in this game. Not as much as they did against the Kansas team where that game ended to 40-61. But playing a team that has been slept on is mid-table in the Big 12 conference standings with West Virginia, as Dalen Mitchell is able to finish. First points for him since the first half. Finds it with 3:55 to go, 47-61. And Cincinnati is coming with double team anytime someone has the ball.
Yeah, I think when you have one of those stars like Small in the court, especially if he's towards the corner, then you can kind of bring that double team. That's where it makes a lot of sense, but you can't get lost in transition like right here.
Connie, down low pass, has great movement from the Mountaineers. Stumbles upon it. Skillings comes up with the steal over to Mitchell. The top of the key. Corner, Josh Reed. Rayvon Griffith for three in the corner. It's good! 3:20 to play. Rayvon Griffith gets that spark for the Bearcats.
It's a great shot. Yeah, great job by Griffith. He stood in the corner, let the ball come to him. Nice shot.
As clean tip, no backcourt violation is called. Referees checking with each other as down on the floor, Toby Okani, the fifth-year guard, looks to have a lower body injury as Wes Miller is arguing with the referee about that no-call backcourt violation.
And I think the fans also wanted to travel, but to be honest, I don't know where to start. There was a lot just happened in that recent possession. I don't know where to start, but going off back to Griffith, he stood in the corner, waited, he got the ball, took a nice three, and he made it. And then at that point, there was a lot of contact, a lot of bodies on the floor between the two teams. As Okani gets up, that's good to see. Gingerly walk, but hopefully if they show a replay, I don't really know where to start. It was a crazy sequence.
It was a very crazy sequence, but you have to see Cincinnati only down 11 now. They were down at 20 at one point. Rayvon Griffith finding that three-pointer and getting it in. Cincinnati is also in the bonus as well, so the Mountaineers really don't have many fouls to give. And if you're Cincinnati, you want to attack as much as possible. But with 3:05 to play, 50-61 is the score here in Fifth Third Arena, where the Cincinnati Bearcats are down, both teams looking for a chance to make it in the NCAA tournament. Stay tuned here with Bearcast Radio Sports as we will take a small break. Welcome back to Fifth Third Arena, where the score is 50-61. I'm Casey Stevens, alongside me, Christian Pagan. Cincinnati being down at 20 with that. Cincinnati's also been on a 13-2 run.
They definitely picked up a spark here. Do they have enough time is the question.
Javon Small, clock dips under 3, 9 to go on that shot clock. Day Thomas guarding him tightly, tries to work around. No dribble, 4 to go, 3, throws up a shot. Off the back iron, Skillings not able to come down with the rebound. Over to Jonathan Powell. Swings it over to Harris. Back to Javon Small.
There's that double.
Griffith comes with the double. Josh Reed tries to get his hand into the passing lane. Not able to finish. Pass over to Jonathan Powell. Shots up. Reed comes down with the rebound. Thomas needs to go quick. 2:30 to go. 50-61.
Don't need a three.
Thomas drives into the paint. Step back. Picks up his dribble. Over to Reed. Reed needs to make something happen. Tries to go for a bounce pass. Interesting, what I would say, flamingo pass out of Reed. As an amazing athletic block by Harris on Day Thomas as he's thrown to the floor. Small has numbers on his side. Attempts to dribble it out for 2 minutes to go. Rayvon Griffith and Mitchell with the double into the corner. Picks up his dribble, tries to find something to happen. Foul's called on Rayvon Griffith. It's an exciting second half for these final 3 minutes.
It has been, but going back to that recent Cincinnati possession, took way too much time off the clock, but that block by Sincere Harris was like a volleyball spike. It just went straight down.
As inbound is Yusefo. Over to Hansberry. Tries to pick up the dribble way too high. Over to Yusefo. Works near that 5th third logo. 10 to go on the shot clock. Lukosius guarding him. Yusefo calls for the ISO. No hand up from Lukosius. Drives in, floaters up, and it's good. 50 to 63, minute 38 to go. James checked in. Same for Lukosius as Griffith and Thomas checked out. Interesting to put in Jizzle James not having the best night. Lukosius over to Mitchell. Minute 25 to go. Mitchell tries with an up and under layup, no good. Rebound from Hansberry. As the Mountaineer fans here in 5th third are happy knowing that they have a win with the final minute of play. Hansberry blocked away by Skillings. Top of the key to Javon Small. And if you're Cincinnati, you have to look at, you were down 20. You're bringing it up a little bit, and you're just looking for the next game.
Yeah, I mean, so they have the shot clock violation. I mean, yeah, but you did have that 4 or 5 minute stretch of, good play. But overall, it was just a poor performance. You can, hang your hat on that stretch you had, but overall, this loss better leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Being 2-8 in Big 12 play after this loss. And the Mountaineers are back to 500 in Big 12 play, back in that mid-table. And Cincinnati, as Josh Reed throws up a rainbow shot, no good. As Mountaineer fans here cheering for their team as the clock comes out to an end, 50 to 63 for the Mountaineers. And you can see Wes Miller's getting into it with the referees. Make it teed up here with just final seconds to go. As interesting way to end the game. Cincinnati will be on the road playing UCF. These fans at 13-7, and then we'll be welcoming back a team that blew them out by 30 points, the BYU Cougars. 2 games where they are going to be outnumbered, and based off of this performance, possibly outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Mountaineers, I have to look at Joseph Yusufu. Perfect, 6 of 6 from the floor. He had a quiet 16 points, but I mean, the Bearcats have a lot of questions and a lot of problems to solve. I mean, there are a lot of question marks on this team, and it's a question of where do we start? Where do we start? Because the turnovers are uncharacteristic. The shooting slump has become consistent. They're becoming consistent and not shooting the ball properly. And overall, the players are just riding a wave of inconsistency, up and down. But, I mean, it's just, where do you start? There's some extracurriculars going on the floor between some of the Bearcats and Mountaineers as they walk off. But it's just, I mean, you see the emotion right there. They're upset. Simple as that. They are upset. And it's just been disappointing.
It's been a disappointing season, but on the other side, Mountaineers, after a few losses, finding their step in this game, they needed it. Not favored at all. Cincinnati favored 67% in this game, 5-point favorites, losing by 13. And for the Mountaineers, Javon Small, 19 points in this performance, not able to get to 20, but when he gets to double figures, it's almost guaranteed that they will have a win. 21 games played all season, 20 of those he's been in double figures. Just his last game, he had an off game against Houston. And for the Mountaineers, going on the road against TCU, they're 10-10, most likely looking to win that game as well after a big momentum. And then going to be welcoming home the Utah team that beat Cincinnati as well, who are 12-8. And if you're Cincinnati at this point, I feel you're just fighting for a chance in the NIT.
It might be hard to even say NIT at this point. I mean, yeah, you'll probably get in the NIT, but does that team really want it? You know, this team had aspirations to be in March Madness. A lot of teams had them as a sleeper in the Sweet 16. This team was ranked 14th in the country at a point in December. 14th. And you just collapsed. I'm not sure, honestly, if this team was invited to the NIT, they would accept it. Just because of what was the standard to them of March Madness. And for this to happen, I'm not sure if they would accept the NIT invite.
For Cincinnati, tough outing for Jizzle James. Not able to get anything to fall for him at all in this game after an 18-point performance. And Rayvon Griffith coming off the bench, making a spark. But the starters, none of the starters at all for the Bearcats in double figures.
Yeah, that's, like I said, your stars have to be stars. But you talking about Jizzle James, 0 of 8 from the floor. You know, you remember against Xavier where he went 0 of 9, I believe, and Wes Miller said, I can guarantee you again, Jizzle James will not go 0 for 9 ever again. He didn't say nothing about going 0 for 8. And it's just, like I said, the wave of inconsistency. Jizzle James, 0 points tonight. It's a big fat 0 at points, but he had 18 against Utah earlier in the week. So it's like, it's the same thing. This team is inconsistent. There's a lot of problems to solve, and a lot of fans are disappointed.
And as the Cincinnati fans leave Fifth Third Arena, losing 50-63, you're playing teams in the Big 12. Your team is looking for the final 10 games of the season, what they need to fix. Is it the rotation? We saw multiple changes tonight. Is it the play calls? As well, we haven't seen many isolations. Or is it the screen and pop from 3? Day Thomas worked early in that first half, but after it got figured out, Cincinnati was not able to bounce back.
You know, to answer that, simply my first thought, coaching, playbook. This team is too talented. This team is way too talented. And I understand, you know, you have some up years, some down years. You look at Connor Hickman, he averaged 16 points per game last year. He's averaging like 4, and he's hurt. But my point, this team is way too talented to be at 12 and 9. It's way too talented. In my opinion, it's the offensive play calling. It's the style. Why is Bandigo up at the top of the key giving these dribble handoffs with 10 seconds left to go on the shot clock? You know, there's not much off-ball movement either. So in my opinion, it's the play calling because this team has talent. Wes Miller, he's a hell of a coach. But you have to fix something. And when you keep switching your rotations, you only have so many options to choose from before you're all out. So in my opinion, it's one of the best defensive teams in the Big 12. You know, opponents are averaging 63 points per game coming into this. And look what they had today, 63. That's second in the Big 12. My point, in my opinion, it's the offense.
I could see the offense being something, and that's where you either go to the transfer portal like they did and bring in Arlington Page, who had, I believe, just 5 minutes all game and not playing at all in that second half. And then Dylan Mitchell, who was the biggest name almost in the entire transfer portal, coming from the SEC to play in the Big 12, where competition would be considered almost the same or even a little better as well. And it also comes to recruiting. Cincinnati able to get some big name recruiters, an All-American, McDonald's All-American coming to Cincinnati next year. What difference is he going to make? Cincinnati having issues behind the arc, not able to knock down shots. Or is it going to be, we need better communication? That was the big issue for the Bearcats today, communication. No one was having their head up when they were running down the court on fast breaks. No one was talking to each other on defense, and that gave the ability for Javon Small to get to where he needed and finish this game with 19 points.
Yeah, and just a shocking stat on layups. Cincinnati, 5 of 19 on layups. 5 for 19. So in how they score it, you know, how do you define a layup? That's the first question. But 5 of 19, we can all agree a layup is a shot taken inside the key. Simple as that. 5 of 19, though, like that's pretty surprising to see. That's very surprising.
That is. And the Mountaineers, overall, Cincinnati struggled in this game with some highlights. You're shooting better from the free throw line, right? Your defense, you kept your opponent to 63 points, but what you notice is other players are able to step up and you're not able to shut down the best player. You can go back to the Kansas game. Hunter Dickinson dominated in that game against Cincinnati on offense and defense. For this game, Javon Small dominated on offense and defense. And you also had Yusefo adding 14 points for himself, followed by an 8-point performance from Hansberry and 11 rebounds. And Cincinnati needs to find out what defense will work too. You continue to change from 2-3 to 3-2 zone, or you go to man. I think at this point you stick to either a box and one, or you're able to guard the best player on the other team with your best defender and leave everyone else in zone where you force the other team to shoot threes, and you just have to be quick on the closeouts.
Yeah, and like I said, it comes down to there's a lot of questions to be answered, and it comes down as well to what more can he do? What more is there left to do? Like I said, there's a point where you just run out of options. You really do. And it's, like I said, disappointing product for the fans, the teams, just overall disappointing. But you got to give credit to West Virginia. They played a hell of a game today. And the three-point shooting, 9 of 18, beat 50% coming into this match. They were missing 55 of the last 67. You got to give them credit. This is an underrated team.
And it's not going to get easy for either team either. Both of these teams fighting for that Big 12 championship and also that NCAA tournament championship and that bid as well into that. But from Fifth Third Arena, I've been Casey Stevens with Christian Pergon. Cincinnati Bearcats lose here 50-63, and we'll be here soon against the BYU Cougars. Welcome them into Fifth Third Arena.